God's country, huh?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, it's good to have you back. I know it's been, about a year, maybe year and a half?
Year and a half, so.
Yep. So, Casey Brown, go ahead and give kind of a brief introduction of who you are, kind of what you're doing, what brought you to Calvert City, why you're back, all that good stuff.
Sounds good. So I was played baseball my whole life. Went to Christian Academy of Louisville in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was just after high school I went to Midway University and played there for about 3.5 years. Because COVID kind of jacked it up a little bit, but towards the end of my years there, things went a little wacky. And found myself out of baseball. Mm-hmm. I was going to transfer to IU Southeast in New Albany, Indiana. Mm-hmm. And then some things went wacky again. Ended up trying to find a place about 2 months or 1 month, somewhere around there. About ready to go back to school and couldn't find a school. So Bryce hit me up, Coach Wills hit me up, and found myself here. And the rest is history.
Well, I know Coach Wills was pretty excited whenever he talked to you. I know he was sending me videos and stuff that I guess you had probably sent him. Maybe he saw him on Twitter or whatever. But I know whenever he kind of got you locked in, he was pretty excited about it. And then as soon as y'all started practice and I saw you guys, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm glad we got him too. So I was not aware that you were at Midway for 3 years. No, Midway University, where is it?
It's in between Frankfurt and Lexington.
Okay. Yeah. So since then, I've been in contact with a few more people that have gone there. I'm not real familiar with the program as a whole, but I know IU Southeast is a powerhouse and has been for years.
Yeah. We after I was here, I went there, like I committed again, and we ended up going to the NAI World Series in Lewiston, Idaho, and that was a crazy experience. But to get there, we ended up in our regional. We were down 11-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Ended up coming all the way back, scored 11 or 12 runs in the last inning.
I think I remember seeing that on Twitter.
It went viral.
I didn't even realize that you were on that team. That's crazy though, man. Because I saw that all over Twitter. Did y'all hit a couple home runs?
It was like we had 2 outs right away, and then we ended up getting on an error, had some walks, a few base hits, and one thing led to another. We ended up winning on a walk-off 3-run home run.
Oh, that's the best, man. That is so, all right.
After that, we ended up sweeping the regional, so it was crazy.
So what schools are in y'all's conference?
It was Midway, Brescia, Ohio Christian, Rio Grande, IU Kokomo. I think those are the ones off the top of my head. West Virginia Tech. Just schools like that. Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure actually one of the first generation Lake area post-grad kids is at Rio Grande right now, yeah. He started at Brescia, and I think he played there. His name's Sean. So I guess he played a couple years at Brescia, and now he's finishing up there because I saw his mom post on one of our posts. So that's cool, man. Yeah. I think anytime that we can be a part of somebody's journey and just kind of seeing those journeys come together is awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. I when I first committed here, there's no way I would have thought I was going to NAI World Series. So it's like you put in the work, you never know what could happen.
That's right. So talk about the World Series, man. So when I was at Indy in 2012, we went to the World Series, and it's one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had. So just kind of talk about that. So you guys get there. So I guess do they kind of blind draw the seating, or are you seated based off of your district and stuff like that? Do you remember how that was laid out?
I can't remember how that was laid out, but we weren't ranked at the time. We had come in as like a 4 seed in the regional, and so I mean I'm not really sure. It's just we ended up luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we were like the 10th seed or something.
Did y'all win it?
No.
Okay, so how'd that go? How'd that process
We
go?
went 1-2. The first game we played William and Carey University down in Mississippi. We won that game and then lost the next two.
Yeah, so when we went to the World Series, we went 2-out. Yeah. And, I think you get that, sadly, a lot. You get happy that you're there and you get complacent, and next thing you know, you're there for a cup of coffee and you're back out, but
we went there and first game we hit like 3 home runs to start the first inning. It was bang, bang, bang. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember when we walked in. So we walked in. We stayed at like a Marriott or something. It was or a Hilton or something. It was some nice accommodations that we were provided, and the whole lobby of the hotel was decorated with NCAA stuff. I mean, NCAA keychains. There was like an Oakley stand. There was like NCAA banners everywhere. So that was really the first time as a player that I had like what's it called? Like imposter syndrome, like where you can't believe that you're actually there.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've always been a really like humble player and stuff. And I remember walking in, I'm like, man, we're like the real deal, and like just being in that atmosphere. And then you sit back and you're like, we are one of 8 teams left in the country still going. And kind of like you guys, we were, I want to say going into that 2012 season, we were unranked. I won't say really look past, but we weren't really anticipated to make a run. And kind of same thing, man. We went through our conference and I think we went unbeaten through our conference tournament. Then we swept our regional. And so we go into this thing feeling like we're on top of the world. And then we run into, I think it was St. Mary and a school out of maybe New Jersey. We actually faced the Division II Pitcher of the Year first game. Yeah. And, it was quite the experience. But, we did some cool things. And I don't know if you guys did or not, but like they wanted each team to do like a community service event. And so that was my first exposure to the Miracle League. And it was one of the coolest experiences that I have ever had. And that's why I was so excited when I found out that they were doing that here at Mike Miller, actually where you guys used to practice. And I don't know if you've seen that field. I don't know if they were even building it whenever you were here, but now they've got that Miracle League field that's basically a field for kids with disabilities to go out and play. And we were buddies. All of our players were buddies, and we got to help kids and stuff. And it was an awesome experience. Yeah. So it was bigger than baseball. It was you're there for baseball, but you've got kids coming up asking you for autographs, and then you're going to the Miracle League event and being involved in that community there in Cary, and it's an awesome thing, man. And I'm proud of and excited that you were able to experience that.
For sure.
So now you are at South Oldham High School, right? Coaching, giving back. Yeah. So now, hopefully, you and I can provide that to our high school kids at the state tournament in Lexington. So talk about that. Talk about you're kind of stepping back from the player role. Now you're coaching. You're giving back. How's that going?
It's going great. Actually, the year before I got here, I had taken a gap year and did work with the catchers there at South Oldham, and I loved it. But now that I'm not playing, I'm going back to that, and I'm doing the workouts in the morning. Like, so we're getting up at 6:15 doing workouts. Guys are busting their butts off and doing great things. And then so we do that Tuesdays and Thursdays, and after that, after school, they go to practice for about an hour, do hitting and all that. So it's going great. I love it.
Yeah, it's high school is definitely a lot different. I think, you said it kind of brings back you're kind of looking at it from a different perspective. And I think, anytime that you can have guys that have gone on to play and have those guys around those younger players to help them understand that there is a future in the game, regardless of what level you want to play at. Like, look, man, if you want to play, you can find a spot. If you're willing to put the work in, put the time in, you can find a spot. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times, man, in Kentucky, the bar is so high. When people think of college, they think of Western Kentucky, they think of UK, they think, of Louisville. There are so many other options in Kentucky. We've already said a couple: Brescia, Midway. There's Berea. There's a lot of options.
A lot of people don't realize that college teams have JV teams.
Yeah.
So like when I was at Midway, we had like 75 guys.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. And I think, for looking at it from a post-grad standpoint, that was really why I wanted to do this here, because there's a lot of people that, maybe they want to roll the dice and give it a year to see where they end up. Maybe they're not ready for Western Kentucky yet, but they could be in a year, or whatever it may be.
That's kind of like my situation. I was going to IU Southeast, and then there was like a coaching change, and I don't think I was quite ready for that. So I came here, put the time in, put in the work, and then I went back, and good things happened.
Yeah. Well, and for, this is good. This is a good route for anybody, right? But I think for a Kentucky kid, it's an awesome option, mainly because you can still take classes. Did you take classes while you were here?
I took one.
Yeah, because you were in a little bit different situation because you already been in school for a couple years, right? But for a kid that's coming out of high school, now they can take classes, use their keys money, and all that sort of stuff, make progress towards their degree, save their eligibility, play junior college and typically Division II JV teams or NAIA schools, and save all their eligibility and come out of here a year bigger, a year faster, a year stronger. So yeah, man, when Bryce said that you were a Kentucky guy, I'm like, let's go, because that's obviously I want people from all over. I think that's great. I think it brings diversity to the program. Having different areas and cultures coming together in Calvert City means the world to me because I grew up here. Yeah. But I would be lying if I said I didn't want Kentucky kids here, because I see the benefit here. I think, and I've referenced this in previous conversations, but I'm not sure that I play as a freshman coming out of high school just because I'm not sure that I was ready physically, but I redshirted my first year, got a lot bigger, a lot stronger, put me in a lot better situation. Had we had this in my hometown when I was growing up, I would have 100% did it. Yeah. We did not, so anytime that you can give opportunities to kids that are looking to better themselves, that's what it's all about. And that's what, and that's what this is. Dude, I think you're going to do really good in high school. Yeah. I think, I love it. I love coaching high school. I think one of my biggest, aha moments was, not everybody wants to play college baseball.
Something I'm figuring out.
Yeah. And I think, and you'll get past it. And I think what you will understand is, although everybody isn't looking to play in college, everybody's looking for the best experience possible. And that's what I really want to try to facilitate. It's just making sure that these kids, when they look back on high school baseball, that it's a pleasant experience, and sometimes that's not always the case, unfortunately, but if I can do that for 99.999% of the kids, then I feel like I'm doing my job, for sure. And so I just knowing your personality, your demeanor, I feel like you're going to do a really good job. So how are you guys going to be?
I think we're going to be great. I mean, we've got a kind of a small senior class. So after this year, we'll be really good after that because we got a lot of younger guys. Our shortstop is going to Louisville, so got a big bat there.
Yeah.
Outfielder that's getting some looks. Pitching is it's in work in progress.
Right. That's right.
But we'll be solid. We're trying to three-peat in our district, so
yeah, we're
definitely working towards that for sure.
Yeah. Well, we are coming off of a year where we had won the district championship 5 years in a row, and we actually got beat last year. So we're coming out with something to prove this year. We've got a really talented team. I think you talk about pitching. We don't have anybody that's going to absolutely blow up the radar gun, but we've got several guys that can pound the zone. So you look at the teams that can make a run, and it's the ones that are that are deep and that can throw strikes.
Yeah, we have a ton of pitchers. It's just they're unproven. Let's just say
Mm-hmm.
that we have guys that can get people out. They just haven't done it yet. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing them grow and do all that. So
I think one of the things that I really love about high school is every single year somebody surprises you.
Yeah. I mean, 2 years ago it was what Taylor County.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah. Yeah. And who won it last? Who won last year? It's Trinity.
Was it Trinity?
I think, wasn't it? I don't know.
It was either Trinity or St. X. It was one of the.
I will say that you could say Trinity or St. X, and the probability of it is probably pretty high. So yeah, let's kind of talk about that. So you've got Trinity and St. X, and you've got several private schools up there, and then you've got your public schools down here. It's tough to compete, man. I think in baseball, it's actually not as difficult as some other sports.
Yeah, in baseball, anybody can be anybody.
Right.
It just depends who's on the mound.
Football is tough, though.
Football, you got people who are bigger, faster, and stronger than everybody just mauling each other on the line. In baseball, you got to beat the guy on the mound.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is.
That's why it's a beautiful game, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It matters what you do right now. And I think getting kids to compete and learning how to compete really starts in practice. Yeah.
That's one thing I had to learn. Like coming from Midway, it was like our practice was kind of like chaotic.
Yeah.
I'd say like everybody was doing
their own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'd come into team stuff, and it was just like we had so many people. It was just balls were flying everywhere.
like a snowball fight out there.
And it's no like disrespect to them. It's just like how it was.
Yeah.
And then I came here, and it was like you're kind of on your own. You got to figure out like how to work what works for you.
Yeah.
And not what works for. I don't know. I guess it just works for me. But.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to have small rosters.
Yeah.
Especially at this level. You've got everything that you need, right? You've got the gym, you've got the facilities, you've got the field, which now we have a field that is ours technically.
Is it the one we practice at?
I think that you guys
we practice at that church. I'm pretty sure.
Then yes. Yeah. Christian Fellowship.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Because last year was the first year that we kind of took over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really come along. Yeah, that's right. I remember having a conversation with your dad at it was either at the showcase or Meet the Rattlers or something.
Yeah. Something.
And he said that he was giving me some pointers, which I appreciate because I'm not a field crew. Like a lot of this stuff that I have learned how to do, I've learned how to do kind of on the fly. Now, when I was in junior college, a lot of the groundwork, we didn't mow, and we didn't seed and stuff like that. But a lot of the dirt work and whatnot, we did a lot of that. So I learned a lot of that through, whenever I was a player. Mm-hmm. And then, when I came back to coach, and then at UIndy, it was a private school, but it was ran like a blue collar program, and he made us do everything. Yeah. And we had an old school coach, Gary Vaught. He's a legend, man, legend. And he made us do all this stuff. And so I've learned a lot through the years, but that field is really coming along. It needs another truckload of dirt. Mm-hmm. It needs to be seeded, and we need fences in front of the dugouts. But it's a work in progress, man.
It just takes time.
Yeah, and so it's exciting to kind of see that stuff develop. Especially like this building was vacant for probably almost a decade, and then that field was vacant for about the same. Yeah. And these are facilities that I drive by on a daily basis, and to be in a situation where we can kind of bring those back to life is awesome. Yeah. And to see guys out here working, training in it, it's awesome.
For sure. It looks a lot better from the inside than it does the outside.
Yeah. Are you talking about the compound?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. And that, that's
the part out here with the hitting facility. That's like, it's everything you need. Honestly. Like I was in here for during nights, after practice and all that, I'd come in here for 2-3 hours. Just hit.
Do you ever hear noises in here?
No. Yeah,
Oh man! So
they told me it was an old funeral home.
Yeah. So all right. So backstory here. This is fun. So we, I actually referenced this in the last podcast, but so I used to drive by this building all the time, right? And I'd tell my wife, I'm like, man, I feel like this building would be great. I feel like it'd be great.
Yeah.
And but it's just a church, right? And so a church is great. A vacant church looks kind of creepy, right? So finally, I find out who owns the building. I contact him. I tell him, this is kind of what I'm wanting. I get kind of the same reaction that everybody, whenever I first tell everybody what I'm doing, they're like, sure, man. Like, that sounds awesome, So anyways, we come in here, drop ceilings in the whole building. It looks like a funeral home. You think about what a funeral home looks like. That's what it looked like. Yeah. And so I'm looking around and I'm like, this could work. This could work. My wife's like, what? I'm like, we can make this work, right? So we get in here, we're walking around. There's a airbrushed casket sitting right on this wall that we're sitting beside, and I'm like, that's kind of creepy a little bit. And he's like, that was like a custom casket that somebody had purchased and didn't pick up or something. I can't remember, but it was just sitting there, and so. We end up
First off, how do you buy a custom casket? Never picked it up.
That's true. I don't know. Well, I can tell you the way it was airbrushed, it was pricey. I don't know if the dude was like a hunter or what, but it was beautiful. It had like a full, it was like ducks on it, and it was really cool. But anyways, so we get it. Well, it stays in here, dude, for like a long time. And so I finally tell my wife, I'm like, we got to get rid of this thing. We got to get this thing out of my sight because I'm in here and it's freaking me out whenever I just I'm walking around it and stuff. So we end up moving it back here. Well, then I stay completely out of this area for like the longest time because it's sitting back over here. And so finally they end up coming and getting it or whatever. But so we get it all fixed up and everything's good. And now it is what it is, So, so you asked me earlier that people had said it was haunted. It ain't haunted because the last thing that was functional in here was a church. So that's good. Yeah. It was going to be a funeral home, and they never actually ran a funeral in here. So it had the funeral home vibes, and it just never happened. So now it's a training facility, which is pretty cool. So I think as time goes along, we will, try to freshen up the outside a little bit. But our priority, obviously, over the last couple of years has been the internals and getting it set up. Think about the chaos that was back in that living side when you were here. You probably were involved.
Is it still active?
Oh yeah, you need to go check it out, man. It's legit now. So, were you involved with getting some of the sheetrock out and all that?
I don't think so.
Oh man. So we had to tear all the sheetrock out. We had to put windows in. It is legit now. Like, it's hotel quality back there in terms of codes and stuff like that, because we had to put windows in all the bedrooms and all that stuff. But there's two,
like the bunk beds and all that?
Yeah. So there's 2 living rooms. There's 2 kind of bunk style rooms. There's 1 bedroom in the front. There's like a closet space. There's a bathroom, like a shower room, and then a separate bathroom. So it's been awesome. Yeah. Some of the guys use the shower, but to be honest with you, I think a lot of them go up and work out at Snap and then use the shower up there, which is fine. Yeah. That's what it's there for, and they have access to that facility the same, for sure. So, but yeah, man, it's come a long way. Yeah. And I think, over time, I hope to grow it. We've had I'm trying to get a cage put out back, so then that'll give us another tunnel, so like if
definitely during the fall.
Oh man.
I was here during the fall, and every day it was like 60 degrees, perfect weather.
Yes.
And
Well, and I know I saw guys out front throwing every once in a while, and I mean, man, this has got a pretty good little lot with it.
Yeah. This place was like living with a group of brothers that you never like. I never grew up with brothers, so it was like a group of brothers I never had.
Yeah.
For like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
I know I was bummed when you left at Christmas, but we kind of knew that was the plan coming in. I mean, you were very forthcoming with that you wanted to come here for a semester and to get to the next spot.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we had the brothers here, so we still had a catcher, and apparently Khalil was actually a catcher, and he never told anybody, and apparently he was like a really good catcher, and they were playing somewhere, maybe Shawnee or somewhere, and Coach Hodge just straight up asked him somebody said Khalil can catch. And so he puts Khalil back there, and Khalil throws out like 2 dudes.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it was just funny because, we had one catcher all season, and I mean they played a lot of games. I think through the fall and the summer, or the fall and the spring, I think they played right around 30-something games. And that team that was the best team we've had in 3 years. I mean, record-wise, it's not even close. I mean, I think they ended up going like 12-5 or something in the spring, which is awesome for a PG to play schools.
For sure. I knew we were going to be pretty solid in the fall. We played Shawnee, and it was like our first time playing anything together, like wiffle ball. We didn't even do that until midway through the fall.
Yeah,
that tournament.
Yeah, it was the Preston Cope event is September. I think it's maybe like the second week of September.
Yeah,
typically. Yeah,
but that was fun too. That tournament was a blast.
Yeah.
Going back to the team, we went down to Shawnee. And we didn't really play that well, but you knew like the guys had talent, and once they came together, it'd be good. We went down to Wren Lake a few weeks later. We played like a travel team or something, and we got destroyed. Like,
do you remember who it was that you played? Did you play the Razorbacks?
I don't think it was that team. No, it was. I
think who they used to bring in. That's funny,
but it was bad. I think we got shut out. It was terrible. And the next game we played Wren Lake, and we we competed with them like better than we did in the first game. But we ended up losing. But after that, it was like everybody kind of figured out. It's like this ain't high school anymore.
Yeah,
we gotta work out, do the right things, and eventually everybody figured that out. And we actually went on a winning streak to end the season.
Yeah, and then they played really well towards the end of the spring as well, and a lot of those guys, I want to say everybody that wanted to find a spot found a spot out of that group, which is awesome. Yeah. I mean, man, honestly, in 3 years of a post-grad program, I'll say with the post-grad program, I think we've placed 43 players in 3 years, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, it's the guys that are coming here are willing to play wherever they're given an opportunity. And that is huge. So Alex Motter, who was the last guest, he's all the way out in Vancouver, Washington, which is, he said it was 30 hours, like 2,500 miles or something like that.
Is he from around here or something?
Yeah, he's from Belleville, Illinois.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he's from Belleville, Illinois, but then he came here and then he went out there. So he's in his second year out there. He had a red shirt. He had a medical red shirt. So this is his first year. And he's pretty fired up about it. But I think just being able to move guys on and help them navigate that process. Some of these guys are coming here out of high school programs that never helped them at all through the recruiting process. And I mean, as a high school coach, it is tough. But I feel like that's my responsibility too. You know what I mean? But like some of these kids had never sent an email, have no video whatsoever. And it's huge. I mean, you have to. How much of recruiting now is done on social media? Yeah.
Even for my travel team.
Yeah.
I have to get players to come to tryouts and just reach out to them on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of recruiting is done through social media, and word of mouth, building contacts and networking with coaches and stuff like that. I know for our guys right now, I'm trying to push as much video as I can.
For sure.
We did a big showcase at the field. I think it was in October, and got a lot of good video for a lot of area kids, which hopefully is really going to help moving forward. But yeah, so talk about travel ball. So who are you coaching for there?
Yeah, so in Louisville, it's called Ballpark Baseball Club, but the team's called the Bat Dogs.
Gotcha. Bat Dogs. Okay. So is it like a new team, new facility, or have they been around for a while?
We've been doing it for 3 years now.
Okay.
So I've been with them for this past summer and then now this upcoming summer.
So are you coaching one of the teams? Or are you helping?
So we had 2 teams last summer. I was coaching one of them. The other guy, his name's Stone Osborne.
Okay.
He was coaching the other team. So now we just merged those 2 teams into one big 17 and 18 team.
Gotcha.
So we got guys that are kind of like NAI level of like ready to play college ball.
Yeah. We need to have you guys down and try to get a 3-way here.
We've been talking about that for sure.
Oh, man, we'd love to have you. We could get you guys down here, maybe get because there's a Kentucky Prospects team down here that's 17 or they're 16 actually, but they may have an older one. But yeah, man, we can get you guys down here, play a 3-way at our place.
Yeah.
Maybe next year we can come to y'all or whatever. I don't know if you guys have field or whatever, but yeah, man, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can give these kids more games and more opportunities without spending $20,000 on tournaments.
That's what we are huge on. We just do Louisville and Lexington. That's pretty much it. We're trying to grow, but like there's no really need to go to like Atlanta.
At
least we feel like that because it's just like you're gonna be playing. You're not even gonna play at Perfect Game or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
you're gonna be playing at some high school field.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually a really good point. And I think we're just now. We're 3 years in our 17-18U team, and we're just now really to the point where he's considering going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nothing wrong with it if you can afford to do it.
Yeah.
But man, like our teams typically will stay within 2 to 3 hours of here. Like they'll go to, which you got to think about where we're located too. And I mean, really, you guys are not much different. I mean, you're probably a little closer to Indiana, so you could do some Indiana stuff. But like we'll do Tennessee, we'll do West Tennessee, we'll do some Southern Indiana stuff. Obviously, Louisville area, but like there's no really any need to go to South Haven, Mississippi and stuff like, and that trickles all the way down until you get to the lower levels, like 10, 11, 12. Once you get to that AAA level, because you got your A, AA, AAA major levels at the youth ages. Some of those teams do have to travel that far just to get in those high level tournaments. Till you have to, there is no reason to do it. Stay local, stay cheap as much as you can, and focus on the development and putting yourself in the best position to succeed.
For sure.
And that's really what I've tried to tell all of our coaches, like our focus needs to be on in the winter on getting them in here, getting them better, getting them sharp, that sort of stuff. And then, what's our expectations for travel? There are none.
Yeah.
Just stay local while you can. And then each year, get a feel for your families. And if they want to branch out a little bit, branch out a little bit. If not, stay local.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get repetition, opportunities, repetition. That's it.
I feel like when going to these like Atlanta, South Haven, Nashville, or whatever, I feel like it's like one tournament type of thing. Like you go down there once and then it's like, okay, I've done it.
Yeah.
And then move on.
It's kind of like Cooperstown.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever,
I did not.
I never did it. I know people that do it. And I mean, are you doing that for the competition? No, you're doing it for the experience, and is it a great one? Yeah, it probably is. And, it's just like my girls last year, cause I coach a 16U girls team, and the first year we were not good enough to go. much further than Kentucky. Second year, we were a lot better.
Yeah.
So we went down to Gulf Shores, and that's probably a trip that they and I will remember for the rest of our lives because it was an experience, right? Could we have played in the same type of tournament, 2 hours away? Yeah, probably. But is that sacrificing the time that the girls spent together on the beach when we went out to eat together, that sort of stuff? Yeah, it is. So, I think with travel ball, sometimes there is a balance of, is it competition that we're seeking or is it experiences that we're seeking? And I think it has to be a pretty healthy balance of both.
Yeah. I would say for, at least in high school, for South Oldham, we're going down spring break. We're going down to Vero Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
It's where the old Dodger town is.
Yeah.
That place is a great experience, and it's great competition, too. You get to play on the old Dodger big spring training fields and all the side fields or whatever, backfields.
Yeah.
Is what they call them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you get to play good competition. There's mostly Kentucky teams now, but there's some Florida, Ohio, here and there.
Yeah. Have you been down there?
Oh, yeah. I played down there
once
and went down there a few years ago. But you get to stay in all the
villas.
Players. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great experience.
So we actually we went down there for whenever I was at Wren Lake. We went down there and we played. I can't remember who we played down there, but we played them at historic Dodgertown.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, they offered for us to stay in the villas. We didn't, but I know that they offer that for high schools now, and that is definitely a cool high school event.
Dude, you get to play. You get one day a game, and then there's you get free food. You get a pool, some basketball courts, a sand volleyball area.
Yeah.
You living the dream. You're playing baseball in Florida in April.
Yeah. Yeah. Any those Florida trips are always awesome.
Yeah.
So the past 2 years, we have actually gone to Panama City, and we're taking this year off. And then I'm hoping that we can get back down there next year. I've got something else planned for this year that's to be determined.
Yeah.
But, I think as long as you provide that type of opportunity for each group as they come through, it's expensive to go every year.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that at least once while you're in high school is awesome.
Yeah.
Whether it's Vero Beach, Panama City, Gulf Shores, whatever it is.
Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but we don't take a bus down there, so you're traveling with your families, and that's even more meaningful than just going down there. You get to spend time with your family and your team.
Yeah,
it's the best of both worlds.
It really is, man. It's a special time for sure, and I think especially for the senior parents and stuff. That's honestly probably one of the last trips that they're going to have. Yeah. Including baseball.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay. Hang on. There we go. I think there'll still be more trips,
mm-hmm.
right? But the trips plus baseball, really that's it.
For sure.
But yeah, so Vero Beach will be good, and it'll be good competition. We actually played when we went down to Mayfield. When we went to Panama City, we played Mayfield, which is 35 minutes away.
We went last year. They went down there. South Oldham did.
Yeah,
they played Great Crossing.
Yeah,
which was in Lexington. So it's you play the same teams in Louisville, but it's just in Florida, so it's better. I guess.
Yeah, it's better. That's right. We played Greenwood.
I think I know.
Yeah,
it's from Bowling Green.
They're good. Yeah, Bowling Green. We played Greenwood. We played Mayfield. We played Bethlehem. But I'm not sure if it was the Bethlehem in Kentucky. I'm not real sure. And then I think we played Union Grove one year out of Georgia. So, we've had a pretty healthy mix. But, even playing the team, and you can say what you want about, you go down there and you play teams from Kentucky. Shoot, we're not going to play Greenwood.
Yeah.
At no point in our season are we going to play Greenwood unless we travel up there, and
it's in the state tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's not like we're playing teams other than Mayfield.
Yeah.
It's not like we're playing teams we're playing.
I remember when I played there, it was 2015.
Yeah.
We played a team from Colorado.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Like night game, playing team from Colorado
Yeah.
in Florida. Like you couldn't make that up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, kind of talking about family. So you said that you coach. So does your dad coach at South Oldham?
Yeah, he's like the hitting guy or whatever.
Gotcha.
Offensive
The
coordinator.
hitting guy. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. So you're having the opportunity to coach with him. Then.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I did it back when I took the year off, and I loved it. So now I'm working with the catchers. So like he's the hitting guy. So I guess he was the pitching coach, but now he got a different pitching coach. And
Yeah,
he's the hitting guy, which he's done for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be good at it, and I get to learn from him. So like I kind of know what he's teaching because he's taught me my whole life.
Yeah.
Now he's teaching it to other people, which I want to learn. So
yeah, and I will tell you this from the instructor perspective, you, especially in the early stages, you will learn more about hitting by teaching than you ever learned by doing. Yeah. And it's because you figure out ways. You have to figure out ways.
Trust me, I've already figured it out. I've already learned.
I remember like the first time I was kind of like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's you have to figure out, and it's just like teaching, it's different. It's being able to differentiate between athletes and players. And, I think when you figure out the 7 different ways to say the same thing to get the one point to stick, you're set.
I've been learning that honestly with catching too. Like some guys learn how to move this way and some guys learn a different way.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah. Like I think teaching the game is one of my favorite. It's the best thing.
Yeah.
It is my favorite thing in the world in terms of baseball. I loved playing, but I love teaching it more.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, once my last few years, I was kind of getting tired of playing.
Yeah.
I wanted to play still. I was just like, I feel like I'm meant for something more.
Yes. I felt the same way, man. And there's a reason you feel that way. I truly believe that. And, I think, and maybe you had something kind of like this too, but, like I had a good career. And I don't talk about my career a lot, but like I had good numbers. I did have some injuries and stuff like that. But I remember as my career was coming to a close, I was kind of telling myself like, no, I'm going to give myself every opportunity that I can. And I'm gonna give this pro ball thing a chance if it gives me a chance. Well, I went to a couple workouts and nothing materialized. And then it was like on my way home, I had an opportunity that was presented to me with baseball youth, and which was kind of in the game, but it was on the sports marketing side. So it kind of helped me bridge that gap between playing and, not.
For sure.
And so I've always told people that I felt like God had a different plan for me. Mm-hmm. And I know that, looking back at your time here, and, if you remember when you left here, I asked you, I said, hey, just send me like a statement or something about your time here. And I feel like looking back on that time, that was kind of what you felt like God put you here,
yeah,
right?
For sure. Like I was in Midway, like I made all conference team doing all that. And the next year following after that, things didn't really go my way. And I had to transfer and figure it out. And out of all the places, he put me in Calvert City, Kentucky.
That's right. God's country.
Yeah. And I had met, I went over, just one day, like random Sunday, I went to this church over here. It's Calvert City Church of Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, and, right down the road.
Yeah, literally right across the street.
Right.
And I was like, was just walked in, I sat down by myself, and some lady came over. You want to sit with us? I was like, sure, I might as well. And they ended up taking me to lunch out after the service. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, people, they don't even know you. They just come up and ask you if you want to sit with them and take me out to lunch. And got to know them and ended up going to do Bible studies with the pastor like every week on a Tuesday, like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it ended up getting baptized here. So
Yeah, dude. And that, honestly, it gives me goosebumps because, I talked to Kaylin about it. And, when you sent that, and I told her, I said, we built this to give kids an opportunity for baseball.
Yeah.
But it is so much bigger than that.
Yeah. I had no intentions of like even coming to do all that. It just kind of like, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of like lost and don't really know like what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
And like my purpose. So I went to church one day and it was just like all of a sudden everything just switched.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know my purpose. I want to be helping people like in baseball, like teaching them what to do and like all that. And on the flip side, like trying to get them mentally better and more like involved in church and all that.
Yeah. No, you're good. It's a beautiful thing, man, because, this community has been very welcoming to our players. And I actually spoke, I don't know if it was the woman that asked you to sit with them, but I did talk to a man and his wife that knew you.
I think I know you're talking about.
And they asked me about you. Yeah. And I got to talking to them about it, and just hearing them talk about the situation and about how, you were welcomed into that church.
It was crazy. And when I got baptized, there was probably like, elders.
Yeah.
Like, there was probably like 10, 15 elders, and half of them I didn't even know. I've never even met. They just showed up and was like welcoming me to like the people who've gotten baptized.
Yeah.
The group. I don't know. Whatever it's called.
Yeah. Well, they and the Church of Christ is great. Mm-hmm. But it's, it is so many people in this area that have done things unsolicited, whether it's bringing food over here or inviting our players to the church for different events where they're also fed. And I think when the community takes you guys in, you're not too far from home. I mean, you're only a couple hours from home. Some of these guys are 7, 8, 9 hours from home. It is so comforting for me to know that you guys feel comfortable here. No, I'm a minute and a half down the road. Coach Hodge is 30 seconds past my house. So it's not like you guys are just thrown out here to the wolves. Coach Wills lived 7 minutes down the road. So it's not like it's like that. But knowing that the community embraces you guys, and even the people at Lakeland Event Center right next door, I know there's been times that Chelsea has brought stuff over here, food and cooked.
Yeah, we did that Halloween thing with them.
Yeah.
Lake Area Event Center.
Yeah, and then I think she actually cooked chicken Alfredo, and I don't know if that was for y'all's group. That might have been the group before. But yeah, and we ate it in the lobby.
Chicken Alfredo.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, so it's cool, man, and I think I'm glad that you were able to tell that story because it is much bigger than baseball, and I think now we had Coach Wills in, and he's kind of on a journey similar.
I talked to him a few days ago.
So
I'm glad he's on that journey.
Funny story about that. So on the podcast, I made the comment that if I had a version that I could understand, then I would start trying to read the Bible.
Yeah.
Not even, I swear, not even a week later, somebody brought me a translated version of the Bible to my house, and isn't that crazy? Yeah. So I've actually been reading it. I've actually been. I'm almost through Genesis, which is quite long.
Yeah.
But and sometimes it's tough to get through. But I'm on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So but that's like you can't even make that stuff up. Like that's all God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. And I think and as we were kind of going through this lake area journey, doors opened, and even like the teams and things like that. Like I started out just doing lessons.
Mm-hmm.
I when I was considering coming back, I put out that I was going to be in town and I was going to do lessons, and I was just kind of testing the market to see if I would be able to make it back. I get here and I get like 12 lessons. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is something. Mm-hmm. So then we get here, I do lessons for about 8-9 months. Well, then people start asking, when are you going to do teams? When are you going to do teams? And I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. Well, then I heard it enough. So then I did that. Right. Well, then it was like the original den facility that we lived in, that the guys lived in. It kind of, that opportunity, I'm at home one night and I'm looking for an opportunity to house 20 something guys. Right. Which we never had that many. I think the most we've had is 13.
I think my team had like 13.
Yeah. But I couldn't find anything, obviously, because that's tough. Yeah. And this ad pops up on my feed, and I click it. I message the guy. The guy is awesome. He's a local guy here in Calvert City. We actually meet him that night, work a deal. We get in there, the facility next door to that opens up. So then we have it was like a garage that we use for a hitting facility that opened up
over there across the street.
It was right. It was actually right next door to what we called the den. It was just like it was like a little barn, like an old garage type thing. So we used it, and it was just like that, these doors just kept opening. Well, then lo and behold, we end up in an old church. Like
you can't make that up.
You can't make it up. And where's our field?
Yeah, at a church.
At a church, right? So it's like this journey has been slowly presenting, opportunities, and it's, here we are. Yeah. And now I start a podcast and I talk about the fact that I can't understand the Bible, that the language is too rich for me, and then somebody brings me a translated version. Yeah. It's incredible.
You can't, like I keep saying, you can't make it up, but you can't.
You can't. So how's everything else going, man? So you're coaching high school. Did you finish school? Did you graduate?
I got about a year and a semester. So
gotcha. What are you trying to get your degree in?
Marketing.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not. I'm working at as a groundskeeper at a local park in Louisville.
Yeah.
But I'm working there for another year or two, few years, seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get my own landscaping business.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, but it's in the works.
Good money.
Yeah. It
is good money. I know I've got high school kids right now that are doing it and doing really well for themselves. And, it's good. And the marketing side will come into play. Sure. I think everything that I've learned about marketing has been just doing it, and I've said multiple times that I wish I would have taken classes in marketing. I wish I would have taken classes in graphic design, stuff like that, just to help, because all that is tied together. Yeah. But now with AI and things like that, the graphic design part isn't necessarily as important, because I can go on Twitter or X, and they have you seen that, the Grok thing on X? No, you can type in anything and it'll pull it up.
Really?
Yeah. Here, I'll show you. This is actually pretty cool. This is insane. I can't believe you haven't seen this.
I've seen like ads for it, but
so let's say, man, I don't know. Give me anything.
Let's see.
Who's your favorite cartoon character?
SpongeBob.
Oh my God, that's good. All right, so what's it doing? So SpongeBob. There, this is my favorite thing to do, honestly. Watch this. Muscular SpongeBob playing baseball. Check this out. Oh gosh, you're gonna have so much fun with this now.
No way.
About that. So now you can post stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It looks like Stanton.
So, like all of our, you said it looks like Stanton. So, all of our, like our leagues and stuff that we do, like I've got the mash and taters and the flying carp and all those are all AI generated. Yeah. So I just go in and I'll put in like muscular turtle or something,
I've seen so I'm a big UK fan.
Yeah.
So I see stuff like that about like trash talking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and so now you're what you're starting to see is a lot of deep fakes. People that are making videos of I saw one of P. Diddy and Jay-Z. It's definitely not them, but it's AI generated, so it looks like it. And then they had there's a little kid, and the little kid had Drake's head on it. It's all kinds of stuff like that. But
people got too much time on that.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, man, so that'll be good. So, doing the marketing thing, are you still wanting to coach?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I want to do. I'm trying to figure out what I can do with coaching.
Yeah.
And I like being outside, so it kind of landscaping.
Yeah.
All that kind of goes together.
The only thing I really don't understand right now and that I want to get a better understanding on is seeding and making the grass beautiful.
Yeah. Luckily, my dad, he works in that business, so.
Really?
Hopefully he can help me out in that.
See, that's funny you say that because Kaylin asked me, she's like, is his dad coming down? Because that'd be a cool perspective from a parent. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think he is. But hey, shout out to him if he wants to. If you ever want to come back on and he wants to come with you. Yeah, man. So kind of going back to that real quick. So, you've been able to coach with your dad. That is honestly got to be one of the coolest things, man.
For sure. Because I mean, he grew up coaching me.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting to coach with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just really cool. It's something not a lot of people get to do.
Yeah, and it's so I would have given anything to have been able to have done that with my dad, and I think the fact that you are doing it is awesome. Yeah. And I think just embrace it. There's gonna be times when he says something, you're like, nah, dude, that ain't right. And vice versa. But it's the good funny. And the bad.
Yeah, at South Oldham they gave us nicknames. He's B1, I'm B2. So
that's good. That's good. So are you like the good cop and he's like the bad cop, or are y'all both pretty much the same?
I guess so. I can get on them when they need it.
Yeah. Well,
it's kind of I'm like a big brother to them almost.
Yeah.
Because I'm so young and relatable to them.
And that's a good situation to be in. Yeah. How old are you?
23.
Yeah. So, and you'll have that for a while.
Yeah.
And I think, I will say that your dad has been very supportive, at least to me. He's been very supportive of what I'm trying to do here. And I appreciate that more than anything. A lot of times you hear the bad, and it's good to hear the good, and it's awesome to have people recognize the work that's going into it and the benefits of it, and to hear him talk about the benefits to a Kentucky kid without me even saying it is awesome. And I think whenever he came down and he told me the field was looking good, and he said, you're going to lose all that dirt though. I'm like, yeah, I know. Cause it was at that time, it was super dry and it was just like a dust cloud blowing. But without irrigation, it's tough. But so y'all got to train in here, didn't you? And I had the hit tracks and all that stuff, didn't I?
So we would come in here. At the end, we came in here a lot.
Yeah.
We were mainly over at those
Doty building.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were over there, and then we'd have a break, or I think that was just the end of the day. We ended up doing hitting, some defense, some core work, and a lot of running.
Yeah.
Those sprint work stuff was no joke. But after that, we'd have the day off, and then personally, I would come in here around 6 or 7 whenever the lessons were done.
Yeah.
And hit for a few hours, hang out with the boys.
So did you really get to use the hit tracks much? Did you ever use the camera and stuff?
The kid.
That's what I'm saying, man. The camera was underutilized. So there's a camera. There's a
I don't
camera.
even think I knew about that.
Yeah, there's a camera that you can set up, and it records every swing you take.
Oh, what?
And and it'll even play it back on the screen. So you've got the big TV, like the 75-inch TV or whatever behind it. Yeah. So like you swing and then you look back. So like right now, like with lessons, I mean, I've got it in slow motion. So like for example, if I'm working on a kid on balance, right, and I've got the camera set up behind him, and we're working on, like keeping good tilt, keeping good balance, staying through the ball, all that sort of stuff. And I'm trying to get him to feel it. Then each swing, I'll say, all right, turn around and tell me if you're balanced. And he'll look at it. First couple, he's like, I don't know. Yeah. By the third time, I'm like, do you sit? So what I'll do is I'll put like a point. I'll say, all right, look at that part on the wall. Do you see how your head drifts out? They're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Dude, it is a game changer. I'm telling you. So like, are you doing lessons and stuff now?
I'm trying to. I'm mainly doing defensive stuff right now.
Which, don't get away from that, because catching instruction is so important, and it's so difficult to find. It's just like pitching. I am struggling right now to find a pitching instructor. So Kent Wallace has the baseball barn, and he does a phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you can't hardly get in with him. Yeah. So I'm trying to get another pitcher in here, and it is just tough, man. It's tough to find people who want to do lessons, and catching is the same.
Do you have any like former college guys around here?
So I'm actually communicating with a couple college arms right now. One of them's at Murray State. I'm hoping I can get him in. I mean, it's good money too. Yeah. It's good money, and it's rewarding. It is such rewarding work, to be able to see the fact that you're helping these kids is the best thing in the world,
That's why I love coaching. Is like you just to get it's from the beginning of the fall to now. Some of our kids in South Oldham have made enormous strides, and I love like seeing them. Yeah,
just through our off-season work right now, you see such huge strides so quickly. And, it's the confidence that they get through preparation. And that's what I've tried to get through to a lot of the youth kids. He's got to come to lessons. No, he doesn't have to come to lessons. Yeah. What he gets from lessons is confidence through preparation. Yeah. You come in here and you hit 100 balls before you go play in a game, you feel more confident going to the plate. Yeah.
It was funny you say that. I was actually listening to a video by Nick Saban this morning. Yeah. He was talking about the world. He said something about the world doesn't owe you anything.
That 100% true.
It's like you have to put everything into what you're doing.
Yep.
If you can't just wake up and be good, you have to hit for like an hour or so every single night, and eventually it'll pay off.
Yeah, and this is I don't want to feel like I'm like giving you advice, but I will tell you this, because this is something that you learn something every day, you learn something every week, every year, so on. And in the beginning of this fall, I kept telling the guys, make sure you're getting working on your own. If you're only hitting while you're here, you're holding yourself back, right? You're behind. And so what I would do is at the end of practice, I would ask them, how many swings did you guys get today? Well, you got 3 rounds of 5, typically, not including warm-ups, not tee work and stuff like that. You get 3 rounds of 5 on the field. You're taking ground balls and stuff like that. How many swings did you guys get today? 15. How many ground balls did you get? 20. Okay. Is that enough to get you better? No, sir. So you got to be working, right? So I kept saying that. And then I was adding in, guys, make sure you're getting your lifts in. If you're not getting your lifts in, let me know, and we will use this time to go up and get your lifts in. You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys are doing other sports, other things like that. And so finally, I don't know what it was, just one day I'm like, you know what? I keep saying that they need to be doing this stuff, that they need to be working hard. Some of them don't understand, I'm sure, exactly what that means, right? So after practice one day, I said, I want to be clear about what I'm talking about. When I say you need to be doing extra work, this is what I'm talking about. You need to be taking 100 swings a day. You need to be lifting at least 3 days a week, and you need to be running on your own at least 2 days a week. Yeah. So whenever I say if you're not running, you're behind. If you're not lifting, you're behind. If you're not hitting, you're behind. These are the numbers that I mean. And I think in high school, and it is not their fault. It is not their fault. it's your fault if you don't communicate with them.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why I was like, fortunately, it was early on in the fall when we had that conversation. Yeah. But it's like, you can't just say you got to work hard. 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 What does work hard mean?
Yeah.
You, as a high school coach, you are responsible for helping those kids build that work ethic and helping them define, okay, what does that mean? Yeah. And understanding that if I'm not doing this on my own, I'm behind.
Yeah. We do, for my travel team, the owner, Stone Osborne, he does a really good job of that. It's like every time after our practice, we have a classroom setting for about 20 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And he just lists things off about how you need to eat better, how you need to work out better, take ground balls, for example, eat clean, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's paid off. Like, our guys on the travel team are borderline college players, and some of them are already signed to go to college. So it's like, they see what they need to do to get to that level.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah. And I think I've even started with my younger kids, like 8, 9, 10 years old. Obviously the expectation is lower. They're younger and they're not capable of as much. Right. But like with those guys, I'm giving them homework now, and you ask them what their homework is and they'll say 50 swings a day or 10 push-ups, or a lot of them are 25 push-ups a day, and I'll tell them you can do 5 in the morning, 5 after dinner, 5 before you go to bed, or not. That's 15, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I help them understand how they can break it down. A lot of times, like with those guys, I'll do, as soon as you wake up in the morning, do 10. Right before you go to bed, do 15. Boom, you're done. You know what I mean? And then the next time they come in, did you do your push-ups? Okay, let's ramp it up to 30. Did you do your push-ups? Let's ramp it up. And so just for the younger kids, just being able to control their body weight, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and agility.
That's something we're at South Oldham, we're trying to work through. It's like, we have the guys that lift heavy and all that, like the juniors and seniors and some sophomores, but the guys under that, we're just trying to work on form.
Yeah.
Instead of lifting 350 pounds.
Yeah. That will come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just at the high school level, really at any level, it's about building better athletes. 100%.
Yeah. We take our guys through a stretching routine.
Yeah.
After every lift or every practice. Stretching is very important.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't dive for a ball or stretch for like a borderline diving play or whatever, like, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah. Well, and
honestly, like, stretching, like, even like if you just barely move somewhere, you could get hurt. Like,
yeah.
You need to be able to just function, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we've kind of went over that in practice too. You mentioned diving and stuff like that. These guys are capable of so much more than they actually think they are.
Dude, I thought, like, my second year at Midway, I got introduced to our catching coach. His name's Max Sadler. I don't think he's coaching anymore, but he's from Alabama. He introduced me to a bunch of hip mobility and stretching like that. I got so much flexible.
Yeah.
Just in about 3 months.
Yeah.
And I keep doing them till now. I'm still working out and keep doing them. So it pays off a lot.
I've had to start doing more mobility stuff in my hips and stuff, just because I'm getting older, but I think with those guys, like, we invested in Jaeger bands. I think we bought like 30 sets of them, and we have them go through that protocol before practice.
That's what we did.
Dynamic stretch. There's days throughout the season that I can tell that they're getting beat down, and I'll put on like yoga music on the stadium speakers, and we'll do yoga.
Just laying. Honestly, it's very beneficial. Like,
it is.
You just lay back there and relax for about 15 minutes. It's a game changer.
It is. It truly is.
When you're doing it, you don't think it is, but now that you're coaching.
I remember those days whenever we would have to do them as players, and I'm like, this is so.
It's
ridiculous.
like it's just you think it's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah. We were doing something the other day. I think it was an ab circuit, and while they were recovering, I told him that, a lot of it is about perspective. If you look at this as conditioning, then it's going to be it's going to be miserable. But if you look at it as an opportunity to get your core stronger, it's different. Yeah. It's perspective.
It's something that's gotten into my mind. It's I used to look at everything as something I had to do instead of something I get to do.
You get to do. That's right.
So when it was about right before I got here, that's when my mindset changed. And then doing all this is just kind of I get to do this to get to go on to somewhere else.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing that you just said. And that's a perspective that applies to life. A lot of times you can look at the negatives and, man, you have so many blessings every day that you get to do. You get to get up and go to work today. Honest to God. That is true. There are people that can't,
There's something I had just witnessed back in Kansas City where my grandpa and family is from. My grandpa's been going through some health issues, and he's doing okay right now, but he's kind of older and not going to really can't really recover from it that well. But he lives every life I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I can still walk. I can still talk to people. He has kind of some memory issues, so it's I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
And that kind of I was whoa, that's kind of a cool perspective.
Yeah. So when I coached at Wren Lake, the softball coach, I absolutely loved that man, Dave Ellingsworth. And I need to text him because he has been on my mind, but he's an older guy and he's a Vietnam veteran. And every day you ask him, "What's up, Dave? How are you, man?" He's like, "Better than I deserve." Yeah. And I think that could just be something that you say, but that dude has experienced some crazy stuff, so he appreciates the fact that he gets to go home to his wife, and stuff like that. And it's real, man. Yeah. And just that whole perspective, when you said that, I'm like, dude, that is so real. Yeah. It's so simple, but it's so real, and it applies to everything, and it's going to continue to apply as you get older and that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. But listen, man, I'm glad to have you back, brother. I'm proud of you. I'm excited that we could be a small step in your grand journey, and you've got a lot left. I think you're going to do awesome as a high school coach or whatever you decide to do. But yeah, man, you're the type guy that if you ever find yourself back down here, I would love to have you. I would do anything for you. Yeah. And if you ever need anything from me, man, you got it.
Appreciate it.